I am not a child killer. Oh, hi. Welcome to the Swine Brothers Show, episode 79 for the 12th of April, 2016. It's almost Long Beach. Fantastic. You can email the show at ellinthemood@gmail.com. Facebook is Swine Brothers, and Twitter is at SwineBros666. And that's about it. I am your host, Ellie Lindemood, and my usual co-host and I guess co-producer and tagger and
I do random shit because I am the Jim, and I did not call you a child killer. I called you a child molester. There is a difference.
yeah. Well, you could kill him after you molest him. I want to say congratulations.
That sounds like an admission there.
I plead the fifth on that.
Too late.
I want to say thank you to everyone who watched our video. I don't normally say this shit, but since we got like over 100 views, I guess we should say if we have any new fans or people who are just so horrified by what we say that they want to stick around, thanks for discovering us.
Yeah, whatever. You're all useless and weak. Now give me money.
Yes. Hey, got more views than all your cult casts combined, and most of the Metal Gates, except for fucking episode 10.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was a special episode straight from the rectal orifice.
And then Scott took a break, and as soon as he took a break, the ratings nosedived.
Yeah.
But you were getting some fucking good views for the first 10 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that the quality didn't, go away, because I thought the episode that I was on, because I was on them.
Yeah, you were on them, and that made people happy, like yourself, and not me, because I had to work.
Yes, Scott was like, "Hey, do you want to be on this?" I was like, "Shit, yeah." Sorry.
I thought it was the one that I was all whacked out of my skull on fucking painkillers. The dentist fed me. I had a couple extractions.
It was I think it was either a 2 or 3 parter because Scott's computer fucked up, and I actually listened to all of like this 5 or 6 hours of it. You definitely need to hear it, at least part of it, because it is hilarious. You were like yourself, but even worse. Like Scott and I think Annika was on there, or what, Eric. I don't remember who's all was on there, but we were just talking, and then you would interrupt every 10, 15 minutes something completely random about rape.
Was it always about rape? Did I include murder at all?
Yes, of course you include murder. I got to go back and find what episode that was. And by the way, sorry everyone if I sound more rambly than usual. I have not got any sleep.
But you've drank a gallon of energy drinks and coffee and shit.
Yep, got tornado right here. So,
where are we here?
Let's dive into this shit.
Yep.
I'd like to make a comment. I don't know if you have an article, if you can pull one up really quickly.
I got one.
The about something else. If you can find an article about this specifically, the invocation for the NASCAR race on Saturday. Are you familiar with the Robertsons and Duck Dynasty, Duck Commander?
Who from Duck Dynasty?
The fucking Duck Dynasty family, the Robertsons.
I'm familiar with it.
The Duck Commander family. I think their son was an NFL or college football person who gave up some sort of football draft to make duck calls. You know what duck calls are, right?
Yeah, I know what duck calls are.
Okay.
I'm very familiar with that. I live out in the boonies.
These people are redneck to the core. They've made comments about gay marriage, how belief in God is the only thing that keeps the father from raping and murdering a family. The grandfather thinks that the blacks deserved it or some weird thing. They're crazy as a loon.
I liked it because of that. It was fun to laugh at.
And they sponsor a NASCAR race at Texas, the Duck Commander 500. This is the same track that's previously sponsored the NRA 500 a couple of years ago. But ironically, I believe a man killed himself in the infield.
Oh, right.
And one of the stipulations of the contract is the Robertsons basically get to pick any honorary position they want. So if you're unfamiliar with how NASCAR works, you know that they have an invocation, which I snooze through. They have a national anthem, which I snooze through because I don't know why we have to sing the national anthem at every sporting event.
Because it's our country and we're supposed to be patriotic.
Well, they do that in other countries. I mean, shit, I know I can actually sing the Australian anthem word for word now because I've watched so many V8 supercar races. And of course, they have a driver start your engines, and all those are. Wait, just let me. So all those are honorary. People pick, and the Robertsons basically get all the picks. Well, they give an interesting invocation.
Does it have to do with Duck Dynasty star prays at NASCAR race for Jesus Man to be elected president?
Yes, and by the way, the NASCAR paddock is in a furor because of this. It's not that interesting. I just wanted to because it's interesting to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, let's go over the skinny here. This is from the Washington Post.
Yeah, it's a fairly okay. I have to be honest. I missed this the first go around because the pre-race ceremonies, as they call them, it was raining, so the race wasn't going to start for another hour. And B, the pre-race ceremonies are basically my cue for one last piss break and another energy drink. I just don't care about them.
You just want to hear who's doing what, who's in the lead, and who's in flames.
Well, I like the command to start engines, though, because, I like to hear all the engines start. But, yeah, the whole national anthem or whatever I don't care about. But I missed this the first go-around, so I had to hear it secondhand.
Okay. So, a Duck Dynasty star delivered an unusual invocation before a NASCAR race at Texas Motor Speedway over the weekend, praying that we put a Jesus Man in the White House. Is that an action figure?
Jesus Man! I was kind of pissed off. Mel Gibson, did the Passion of the Christ. Not one goddamn action figure.
Yeah, I know. And that'd be cool with, crucifixion action.
Crucifixion action! Stick the thorns in one by one. Or the nails in.
And, you gotta take the Christian spit out. So, these are your sins. Put them in him.
Yes.
Feel guilty for each one. As he cries every time you put one in.
Oh!
This one's for masturbating. Wouldn't really work with a complete sadist, but,
And now we've scared off everyone from the show. Good.
Phil Robertson, who stars in the reality TV show along with other members of his family, has endorsed Texas Senator Cruz for Republican nomination for the president, while his son, Willie, has spoken out in support of Donald Trump. All right.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Actually, here's something you might be interested in. Did you know they actually never say the sponsor of the show or of the race on the Fox broadcast because it's on a rival because Duck Commander has a reality show called Duck Dynasty, so it's on a rival network. Yeah, they never say it's the Duck Commander 500. It's NASCAR at Texas, which I think is hilarious. Anyway.
All right, Texas. We got here via Bible and guns. I'm fixing it to pray to one who made that possible. Father, thank you for founding our nation. I pray, Father, that we don't forget who brought us, you. Our faith in the blood of Jesus and his resurrection. By the way, I took a course while I was in the fucking 12 Steps According to Jesus cult homeless shelter that was all about the blood of Jesus. It was very interesting how I said, you can't do anything without blood, blood, blood. It was great.
I would have loved to go back and drink Christ's blood as he died.
Ah, yes, that would have probably made you immortal if the fables are true.
But then I drink Satan's blood, and then I'd be evil.
And then you would die.
No, because Satan will make me immortal too.
There we go.
Because he's fucking Satan.
Help us, Father, to get back to that. Help us, dear God, to understand that men and women on my right, that the men and women on my right are the U.S. military, on the right and on my left. Our faith in the U.S. military is the reason we are still here. Why don't we turn the U.S. military into a faith?
I forgot the recent war that if they had lost it would you are not allowed to race NASCAR at Texas Motor Speedway. I don't know. I forgot about the war that said if you lose it, you're not allowed to race. Because even Nazi Germany actively endorsed motorsports.
Yeah.
Fucking clown. I mean, it's kind of hard to miss because back in the 30s, the German cars had big swastikas on their fucking tails. Seriously, go look up a picture. Well, I'll show you later. A picture of a car from Nazi Germany from the 30s. It's got a big ass swastika on its tail.
The grand old number 5.
Which is funny because like nobody from the actual factories or the drivers were actually Nazis. Most of them were just apolitical.
Yeah. I pray, Father, that we put a Jesus man in the White House. Help us do that and help us all to repent, to do what's right, to love you more and to love each other. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. Amen.
Yeah, see, even the predominantly conservative NASCAR bunch says that they shouldn't mix sport and politics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Texas is run by a group called Speedway Motorsports, who are a little more conservative than the International Speedway Corporation. I mean, I'm not saying they're not, but they're a lot more straight laced. They usually, are sponsored by mainstream company. Just regular fucking, the Sharpie 500. Or no, I'm sorry, that's whereas this is the Duck Commander 500, the NRA 500, the fucking.
See, I'm actually glad he said that, and I support his right to say it because it's fun to shit on it.
Of course, not as fun as the pastor at the Nationwide Series race a couple of years ago. Thank God for all his kids, his smoking hot wife, Dale Jr., and other. It was a weird ass one. But yeah, people they didn't really know what to say after the invocation. It's just kind of like, what? I mean, it wasn't much of a story. I just thought it was an interesting little, a Jesus
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it goes through the whole thing about the Texas Motor Speedway originally being a National Rifle Association, but then that relationship ended and Duck Commander stepped in.
Yep.
Because Duck, like I said, it's real. The one thing I liked about the show was like they didn't even pretend that this was real reality TV.
Yep.
You could tell it was just a bunch of rednecks playing for the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made it fun because it was like the most real reality TV show there was because they were actually open about not being real.
But yeah, the thing is that Phil Robertson is not a pastor or anything. He's just he gets to do the invocation because the way the sponsorship works, like I said, the Robertson family gets fucking priority over all the honorary. So, Robertson gave the command sergeant. I don't know who sang the national anthem. I'm guessing Robertson. But NASCAR apparently is going to review the sponsor contracts from now on, because NASCAR has always been associated with a conservative image, but they don't want to alienate non-conservative fans, because then you're losing fans.
Yeah.
I mean, they do shit like the invocation, which I honestly don't have a problem with. I mean, most of them are hilarious to me, but I don't care if you want to pray before a race. And they do like the support our troops thing, but they're not, they're not openly far right.
Yeah.
They're just, support, love our country and support our troops and love God. And it's, okay, whatever. It's cute. But, yeah, that kind of went off the deep end. So,
Yeah. Texas Motor Speedway president Eddie Gossage.
oh God, Eddie Gossage. He's basically, if you take the biggest asshole in the universe, Eddie Gossage looks at him and goes, wow, he's pretty small. He's a complete cunt.
Defended Robertson on Saturday, pointing out that Bruce Springsteen canceled a concert in North Carolina to protest the state's new law banning anti-discrimination ordinances. He said what he felt and believed, and that there are a lot of people that agree with him and a lot of people that disagree with him. Gossage said, nowadays you cannot say what you think because of political correctness. So I guess everyone has a right to free speech, or nobody does. Bruce Springsteen cancels his show in North Carolina on his viewpoints, and a lot of people agreed with him, and a lot of people disagreed with him. I defend Bruce Springsteen's rights to take his position, and if you do that, then you've got to defend everybody else's too.
The problem, Eddie, is a matter of time and place. And a car race is not the time and place for a fucking political diatribe. I know. I tried it.
Yeah, go ahead and pray for what you want, but
Because we're not here to think about politics. We're here to watch some cars race.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Gossage, every time he opens his mouth, I have an uncontrollable urge to just punch something.
See, my thing is, I think it's fine to just say whatever the fuck you want. And as long as you're willing to accept the backlash for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do disagree with like the whole entire go after their paychecks kind of bullshit that a lot of people are pulling today. That's like just fucking wrong. I mean, you don't fucking attack someone's paycheck just because they said something you disagree with.
Yeah.
If it's repulsive and vile, like Hitler is God or something, I don't know. Which just gives me more to point and laugh at if someone thinks Hitler's God.
And part of the thing with Gossage and me, I go way back with hating everything he says, because he's like I said, if you picture the biggest asshole in the universe, Eddie Gossage towers over him. I mean,
Yeah.
I agree with what he says in principle, but like I said, there's a time and a place. You don't walk into a synagogue and start shouting Hitler is God.
Yeah, it's not really the right place for that.
You don't go to a car race and start saying, I want to preach to you about my political beliefs.
And you kind of earn the $50 fine if you go in a synagogue and do that.
Do you?
More outright, you kind of earned it there. You deserve to be fined.
Yeah.
At least. Just because, you're being a little bit too much of an asshole. Be an asshole in a way that you can get away with it.
Yes. So yeah, it's interesting because, like I said, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't say what he says, but if I was on there, first of all, if I was on there to give the fucking invocation, I'd be like, how the fuck did this happen? But I wouldn't go, and here's why Ted Cruz sucks.
Yeah.
I would say, dear Satan.
Yeah, Satan.
No,
Satan.
Yeah, it's neither the time nor the place, Phil. I mean, there's if you want to go on a Fox News, or if you want to go on a talk show, or you want to go on your Duck Commander show and go, this is what I believe, but just say, pray for a safe race and blah blah blah, and support our troops because for some odd reason we wouldn't be able to race cars if we'd lost some war.
But that war is what turned Oscar the Grouch into a grouch.
Before that, he was Oscar the mild mannered guy.
Yeah, but then he just saw too much shit. It's whenever you see your friends fall into spike pits that are laced with feces and stuff and die from infections.
Yeah, but am I the only
napalm.
one? Am I the only one who's actually liked Oscar the Grouch? I always thought he was kind of nice.
Yes, he was the most realistic character on there.
No, that show used to give me fucking nightmares because they were all so. I never liked shows that were ultra friendly. Like I used to have dreams about Barney with a butcher knife. I love you. I want to see what you look like on the inside. I like your Care Bear story though.
Yeah, that was. It's like I was a fucking kid. I was watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the original Friday the 13th, and the shit. Just growing up, and I never had a nightmare. I watched the Care Bears movie once, and then I had nightmares of being people being forced to conform to anything, and if you were unhappy for a second, you'd be blasted with the mind control rays that made you happy all the time. You could not be angry. You could not be sad. You had to be happy. Conform or die.
That is a dystopian nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Although it'd make a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
It would make it.
Right.
It would make it pretty awesome. Well, yeah. I've been watching horror story compilations, about 3 of them so far. I'm on my 4th, about 12 hours worth in the past 2 days. My dreams are amazing.
Good. Fuck.
So what have we got next?
From USA Today.
Oh, Jesus.
Florida teacher's privilege form outrages parents.
Yes. Privilege form. Okay.
A teacher has been pulled out of the classroom at Monroe Middle School following parental outrage over a privilege form the teacher passed out to students. The form, titled "How Privileged Are You?" was given to 7th and 8th graders during 2 of the teacher's Spanish classes on Monday.
How privileged am I? Well, last time I murdered someone, my daddy, the president, paid him off, so I got out for free. And then my mother, who's the judge, well, she kind of rigged it, so I also got out for free. And I was free to get out, and I stole a tank and went on a rampage. They blamed it on some other guy.
So my question is this: how does politics fit into teaching Spanish? Unless you're discussing Spanish politics from a Spanish newspaper.
Yeah, when I was in fucking, I never actually took government economics, which I thought I would do well at because I fucking spent the last 4 years. Then it was 4 years, now it's 8, studying how the government works, and I hated it because I took 2 weeks and they pulled me out because they're cunts. I actually wrote a platform because they said write a platform, and I snuck in a few joke things that a few kind of joking things, but I also did a bunch of. He only read the fucking joke things, and I had to explain to him about what the joke things were, and I had to explain what the serious things. But even then, it wasn't really political. Even then, it was more how government works, how economy works. It wasn't. So yeah, that's
See,
as far as.
totally see reading, the politics section of any Spanish-speaking country in Spanish in a Spanish class. Okay, I could totally see that. But this teacher didn't even write this form in Spanish. It was in English.
Someone's got
So
to
you're
pray.
not even and the students were apparently asked to respond to these things in English because some of the writing on the form that this kid put on there asking a bunch of questions, what the fuck does this mean pretty much, is all written in English. So where's the learning of Spanish in any of this?
Yes, your job is to teach Spanish. Your job is not to try to ask questions about privilege in English. Your job is to teach Spanish. I suggest in the future doing what it says on the tin.
Yeah, Spanish language class is not like political activism. Just saying it's a language. You can
Yes.
use it for anything.
Yes, and if you really have to push an agenda on people, maybe you should take a good long look at your life.
Yeah. Race and sex are two common questions students fill out on forms every year. But what about disability status, gender, and sexual orientation or religion? Yeah, I never filled out anything disclosing any of
I
that.
am a blind atheist with Satanist sympathies, straight white male, but still. Oh yeah, and I like music that makes people scream, and I scare people.
Oh, fuck, you'd be pissed then because the fucking form doesn't even have a selection for Satanist.
Shit.
Nor does it have a selection for paganism or anything else that's not your typical Abrahamic religion. They do have atheist on there, but they didn't have any of the cooler religions.
Oh, and I'm sociopathic, and people are either avoiding me or drawn to me. I don't understand why people are actually drawn to me. Some are drawn to me, but some like to avoid me, like Jesus fucking Christ. There's some jackass doing yard work outside, so my dogs are going ape shit. Boy, I wish he just dropped dead.
The way Tumblr keeps coming up with sexual orientations, like we're up to like what 20 million now. I don't know.
I think
But
he's
I'm surprised sociopathy isn't a sexual orientation by now.
just a little. I think he's the asshole who called the cops on my show a couple years ago. So, and then he fucking stands outside my fucking window with his goddamn weed whacker.
Yeah,
Please kill yourself.
that would be fun.
And I don't take that back. He's annoyed me far too much.
Good.
Yes, yeah. So sociopathy should be a sexual. Well, one of my friends says he sexually identifies as an attack helicopter.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, of course. You know me. I'm a toaster.
Yeah, go for toaster.
What do you sexually identify as?
I am a nuclear jackhammer chainsaw launcher.
A nuclear jackhammer chainsaw launcher. I'm just sleep deprived enough to picture that in my head.
That's good. Something's gonna kill you here. We don't know what, but you're definitely gone.
Yes, there's about 8 things here that could possibly murder you.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Regina Stiles was among the group of parents who went to the school on Tuesday to complain to Principal Peter Majera about the teacher. Stiles said her daughter brought home the form to show her because she didn't think it was right. What are some of the questions here?
Someone with a brain.
Okay. Religion. Christian, Jewish, atheist, Hindu, Buddhist, Muslim, Sikh.
I guess I'd have to put atheist for no other.
And you, oh God.
Whatever.
Hindu is not Buddhism. Why do you keep them on the same line? I mean, I know they're from the same general area, but they are kind of different entities. And although you can mix Buddhism with Hindu, Hindu
Yes,
is not by default Buddhist.
and there's a shitload of different Buddhist religions too.
Uh-huh. Oh, God. Sex, male, female, intersex. Just in case you're going to look up.
Intersex, kiss my ass. What? Okay, what? Does that mean one day you're born with? Does that mean one day you have a vagina, and then you take a shower, and all of a sudden you grow a dick, and then you go to sleep and you grow a vagina? That would be awesome, by the way.
You see, normally I fucking rail against this shit, but depending upon context, that could mean, you're in the process of transitioning from one gender to another. But the problem here, this is what, like, fucking 6th, 7th grade.
I stand by.
That's a bit young to actually know solidly where you are, if you're male or female.
Yes, I had a petition sent to me because I signed one thing on e-petitions, and if you sign one thing on e-petitions, you get like a shitload of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one to make a gay couple, a gay or lesbian couple, in every kid show, because apparently kids know who they sexually are attracted to by the age of 3.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and
I
growing up.
thought I was asexual until I was at the age of 15, when I suddenly realized, hey, I kind of like this one girl. Until then, I had no business for dating or anything.
Like I said,
So
you got no concept what you're attracted to. I mean, at that age, I mean, you'll be starting to develop an idea of what you're attracted to. But the deeper question of should I get the sex change and all that, that's something that requires a lot of therapy.
For me, I openly,
out.
until I was 15, I was like, I'm pretty much a fucking sexual. I don't care. Sex is a waste of time. And finally, I was like, yeah, okay, this is about time that I could. So one could say I developed late, but I used to say I had more things on my mind. Anyway, more questions.
Gender, cisgendered, transgendered, genderqueer. And I always have a problem with the genderqueer thing, because it's like I just switch day to day. You do realize that differing levels of the hormones in your body can dictate, whether you sound more masculine or feminine or feel that way from day to day. Here we go. And the thing is, sticking so hardline to stereo, and this is usually based off of a very hardline view of like gender stereotypes, like women are supposed to be passive and blah blah blah, and men are supposed to be like, fucking strong and all that shit. Well, it doesn't work like that.
Yes, I always feel
it's always more about like, and all this does is fuel people's hatred for their own genders.
My personal gender is I call it a mess, because that's how I always feel.
Sexual orientation: straight, homosexual, gay or lesbian, bisexual, asexual, pansexual.
It's pansexual. God damn it. It's bisexual. I don't give a shit how many genders you think there are. It's bisexual. It's a fancy word of saying bisexual. If you were pansexual, you'd be fucking a dog behind the. Maybe you are. I don't know. But when I was 13, I would sign asexual, because I didn't care at that point. I was getting into more music and watching too much racing. So.
Talking to a girl right now that identifies as pansexual. She's at least got her head together enough to say, okay, well, if someone calls her bisexual, she just blows it off and says, no problem there. It's just because the way she perceives things.
Well, fine, you can perceive things, but, I perceive the world as a vast wasteland that deserves nuclear annihilation. What the hell does that make me?
Yeah. And the last one on this current picture, which I know that they have fucking race on here somewhere. They have to. There's no way to figure out your supposed privilege without it. But the last entry here is disability. Are you abled, mentally disabled, or physically disabled?
I don't know if you. I guess blind would be a physical disease, but I mean, I can walk and shit. I can do about everything except see, which isn't really physical. It's more optical, so it doesn't really count as a physical disability. I'm not trying to be picky here. I'm just fucking saying it does not more to do with your fucking way your eyes and brain work. I mean, maybe a physical thing, but we can't see it or notice it. So, but I have to pick physically disabled. Of course, Jim would put mentally disabled. Probably so.
Obviously, that's fucking criminally insane. You know?
Yes, and yet somehow they still haven't found you.
No, they found me once. Then I figured out how to play their game and sound sane.
Yes, how to fake it. See, I was good enough that I knew how to fake it from a young age, and I never let the thoughts bubble out except to people I trust.
Well, you see that I didn't have internet back in the 80s.
Yeah,
and
true.
it actually took me stealing psychology books from my shrink while I was institutionalized to say, this is what they're thinking. Oedipus complex. That's disgusting. They actually think I want to fuck my mom when I call my dad a bastard. Because it was a bastard in life.
Oh, I know some people who used to see shrinks because they thought that they were fucked up. And they realized that, no, they're not fucked up. The world is fucked up. They're perfectly fine. And they embraced their misanthropy. And they said, they actually sent a thank you card to their shrink a while ago. They said, thank you for making me realize I hate people.
Yeah.
And the shrink was actually not your straight. I mean, obviously, he didn't do anything, but he wasn't your straight psychology. He understood that misanthropy is not something. I mean, I've had people who thought misanthropy was like a documented medical condition that deserved treatment and medicine. Okay.
No, it's an attitude towards humanity based off of
And
observation and
yeah,
experience.
yeah, that guy realized that misanthropy was just an attitude and might even be healthy in some people. But yeah, I've had some people who were like, "Well, you're you know, to my fucking parents, your son, he doesn't like other kids and he doesn't have any friends." And I just thought that was normal. I was like, fuck you, I don't want friends.
Well, I keep my circle of friends small.
I
Sometimes I'll
just,
go out of the box and try to increase it like by one or two every now and then. But that's usually because I lost one or two to death or time.
I mean, in school, I just never had friends because I didn't care. I didn't fucking want friends. Now that I'm a bit older, I'm a lot more social than I used to be, which is how I'm on this. Plus, I want to hang out with cool people. I don't want to hang out with people for the sake of hanging out with people.
Fuck you. You just called me cool, which I should be thanking you for, but I'm saying fuck you because you need to work on your misanthropy there.
Cool in my world is a little bit different than cool in every other person's world.
I'll still fuck you.
No, thank you, Jim. I'm not into you.
Rock and roll power stud cock. 9,000.
That needs to be a new Guar song.
When Styles' daughter came to the disability section of the form, she revealed that she has ADHD.
I was diagnosed with that when I was like 6 by some total quack. What the It's my fucking dogs again. Sorry. By some total quack who fell asleep during the fucking exam or whatever, and I was diagnosed with ADHD. And that's how I met a little friend called Ritalin. And boy, that fucked me up for years.
I used to snort this shit.
I don't know.
I even wanted Ritalin cookies back then, and I don't even think that would have tasted good. It was just I was on a lot of drugs at the time, and my buddy just got done making pop brownies. He's like, "Let's make Ritalin cookies," and he's like, "No, we don't have enough to waste on such a venture."
I guess it just depends on how you. I mean, what did it do to you? I know what it did to me.
It gave me a mild speed effect and fucking made me pay attention. It was like I was in the zone, auto zone.
It didn't give me any speed effect. In fact, it slowed me down and made me not want to do anything but I would do work and shit. But I didn't want to do anything, but I didn't have willpower to fight anymore. I basically became a zombie. And I remember people were noticing a sudden drop of enthusiasm from my normal level of enthusiasm, which, granted, isn't that high, but people were noticing a sudden drop of enthusiasm at about midday. And I had to just explain that, yeah, I mean, I was the worst feeling in the world, too. I liked some drugs, but that shit, that screwed me up big time. Finally, they realized that it wasn't working and got me off the thing. And boy, I was happy.
She has ADHD, and apparently the teacher said that there are some kids in class that have ADHD, and ADHD is a mental illness, and that's why she circled that. To me, ADHD is not a mental disability. It is something she has.
To me,
Like,
ADHD is a product of watching too many short little YouTube videos and playing too many video games.
actually, you find out people with ADHD actually will sit there, supposedly with ADHD, will sit there for like hours on end paying utter gross attention to a video game, but then not care about like schoolwork or anything. That's
Oh, who
actual
the
work.
fuck cares about the schoolwork? Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did, but that's because I wanted to go to college.
Yes,
Not everyone wants to go to college. A lot of people just like to go out and have sex and do drugs.
well, I realized something that you're just gonna think I'm sad, but I realized when I was about 14, 15 that regardless of whether I went to college or didn't go to college or finished high school or didn't finish, I knew what I was gonna fucking do. And what was going to fucking do is the beginnings of what you're seeing here.
Yeah.
I mean, I also want to be in a band, but I knew, regardless of what I did, that you know, even if I got all A's and went to like fucking USC or some shit, that I was going to wind up doing this because it was just what I wanted to do. So I had to explain that to people. Well, you did something that impacted your life. I was like, dude, I was gonna end up here anyway.
And if you ever get ultra famous, please tell me that whenever you do like a speech in front of the crowd, you'll tell them, and to you fuckers carrying signs, I can't see, so they are useless.
Yes. No, no, I'll do better. I'll invite you to that speech, and you can have like 8 signs with you.
Oh, that'd be great. So there'd be at least one person there with signs.
The most horrible, obscene messages about things you wish would happen to me.
I want to get the one fucking Guar comic about the fucking one sex slave that like was in Captain Communist, and like that picture where he's like all like naked and chained and forced to look at this picture, which is just an abstract of what's supposed to symbolize violation. With the caption saying, and I was humiliated for hours on end.
It's like being on Swine Brothers. I am available. I am available for parties, people.
In another section, kids were asked to circle cisgender, transgendered, or queer gender. She's 12. Some of these things should be taught at home, Stiles said, and yeah, they should be.
No shite.
The Hillsborough County School District confirmed that the teacher is Yoselis Ramos.
Bless you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I was 12, I was just learning what transgender was, and I was like, so there's people who had surgeries to make them different genders? I didn't really care, but I was like, that's interesting. I didn't know you could do that. Obviously, I realized it was permanent, but still, I was like, yeah, that's an interesting. I didn't know you could actually do that. Of course, I realized that you couldn't get pregnant if you were a transgender woman or whatever. But still, it was I didn't realize you could do that. But
Mm. No, I was introduced that to a bit earlier age thanks to my dad's porn collection.
Yay, if my dad had showed me his porn, which I'm pretty sure he has, but I just can't see nothing.
Mm.
It's probably
In
fairly
Hillsborough
strange shit
County,
anyway.
the students weren't required to turn in the forms. Ramos had said the goal was to teach them about diversity and inequality through literature the students had been reading. How is that part of a Spanish class?
Uh,
I mean, I could see like political science, not Spanish.
yes.
Spanish is about a language. Political science and, maybe a bit of history. Yeah, you could go over some politics, but in history, but like, God.
Here's the science of politics. Make the general public bend down and stick your advertising cock up the general public's ass.
Take all the money you can get.
Yes. And then when you're arrested for money laundering, like the former president of Argentina, just why is everyone surprised that politicians are being arrested for money laundering?
Hell, even in North Korea, Kim Jong-il's losing support because he can no longer afford the bribes necessary to keep his cabinet faithful.
Yay. Yes, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. This is not a district form. This is a teacher-generated form, and it was without principal consent. And at the district level, we do not collect that information," said the district spokeswoman. The district did not say how long the investigation would take or what the literature was that led to the teacher to produce the form. Probably Tumblr, because it reads like something that I saw on Tumblr. Stiles and Rogera called and left a message with all the parents whose children were given the form. And I mean it literally. That's like directly something I saw posted on Tumblr to be like taken and all that.
The Jim reads Tumblr. I don't. Decide who's more awesome.
I read Tumblr because it's funny to point and laugh.
True, I don't because I want to retain what little sanity I have left in this world.
Oh, trust me, it would hurt your brains a lot sometimes.
I know, I've secretly read it because I wanted to see how bad it could get. It's funny Anarcha's talking about how Tumblr's not all that bad, but
Well, it isn't all that bad. I mean, there are clusters here. There are people that are actually semi-rational, but you also gotta, oh God, nipsters. That is just a concept in and of itself that lets me say, what the fuck happened to Nazism? God, it used to be this thing where it was supposed to be big, mean, and scary. And now they're trying to say, but we're the friendly people.
I mean, there are advantages to Twitter. If you want to know racing updates, or updates on bands or shit, and Facebook doesn't show pages anymore, Twitter's your go-to source. Because everyone has a Twitter and everyone gives you updates and you see all the updates or whatever. So that's the advantage to Twitter. The disadvantage, of course, is 140 goddamn characters.
Which is why I usually just use it to post a link to the show twice a week and don't really use it because it's too easy to get lost in conversation threads.
See, I don't use it. I don't. I view it like a news feed, but I rarely react other than maybe I'll like something or, if possible, I'll reply. But I was talking to one of them from IndyCar Radio the other day, so that was pretty fun. But yeah, generally I just treat it like a scrolling news feed.
Yeah, my account's apparently a sock puppet. So I was added to several sock puppet lists.
Jeremy is actually a shadow puppet. He's not real. I'm manipulating him.
Good.
I don't even fucking know what a shadow puppet is. I just like the sound. I just like the name.
Anyways, on to the next story here.
Okay.
White professor calls all white people to mass suicide over slavery.
which admittedly would be kind of interesting as long as I didn't have to participate.
Uh,
My at least one of my generations of parents weren't even in the country in 1860s or before. They were in fucking Germany. So
yeah. Dr. Adam Kotsko, a professor at Shimmer College in Chicago, Illinois, thinks that all white people have been complicit in slavery and should therefore commit mass suicide as reparation. Don't you think money
that
would
is a
be?
perfectly reasonable explanation. That's a perfectly reasonable demand.
I mean, yeah, fine, but yeah, I just don't care which race you are. All stupid people should commit mass suicide. Yeah.
Yes.
uh, and let's go over his Twitter feed. Whether or not your individual ancestors owned slaves, you as a white person have benefited from slavery and are complicit in it. To which I state, what about all the black people that sold slaves from Africa during the transatlantic slave thing? You know, they profited like motherfuckers because they won on two fronts. First off, where they waged war with another tribe or nation, depending upon how big or small these wars were, they would collect a bunch of prisoners. And they not only got control of the new lands that they invaded, but they also got to benefit a second time by selling the slaves and getting money.
Jim, those people don't exist. It never happened.
Yay, people don't know history. And they're fucking college professors.
Yep.
Mm.
How pathetic is that?
Boy, has educational standards dropped significantly. If I know this as someone who dropped out of college and someone that has got a PhD doesn't.
Someone who didn't even go to college in fucking high school is a disaster knows that educational standards have dropped significantly.
He goes on to say, we should commit mass suicide. I know it sucks having a racial identity that exists solely to legitimate the subordination and exploitation of other races. How does race force one to make others subordinate?
Only if you put that much thought into it. I mean, I don't consider myself any race or any sort of
I mean,
as
you actually have to act with intent, which makes it a choice, not a race.
well, no, but if you, I mean, if you put this much thought into it, if you put this much thought into it, where you're just like, wow, oh, fuck, how can someone see themselves so one-dimensionally? I've never understood race or national pride. I'll freely admit that. I just don't get. I mean, okay, I get if you are proud or whatever. I'm not, but how can you see something so one-dimensionally that all the people in this your race, your own are part? I don't get it.
I
But then
mean,
I don't.
even within other defined groups that are like defined by having certain criteria, all and people choose to be part of that group. Say Christians, there's a lot of deviance there. There's a lot of splinter groups from the main, plus each individual may see parts of that group one way and the others will see it another. It's not so cut and dry that everyone falls along the same boring path. There's no deviation once you're assigned this group.
I mean, you have to like love. You have to really be a part of it to the point where you're just like, oh, God, I like I said, I don't know how to explain how I hate it, but I've never understood how you can start thinking that you as an entire white race exist only to because you have to see yourself as part of the white. I don't see myself as white. I don't see myself as a white male. I see myself as Elliot Lindemood. I am my own person. Is my skin is my skin fair? Very pale because I never go out in the sun.
You don't even know what the sun is other than that warm thing in the sky.
Well, that was a joke after a prolonged period of being inside. What the hell's that warmth coming out from the sky? Am I gonna explode?
To this, someone replied, "You go first." Professor states back, "Wow, you are literally the first person to think of that joke. Congratulations."
It wasn't a joke, dude. We were literally saying, if you're gonna mass suicide, you do it first. I'll even
And,
supply you with a rope.
and then there's about 50 people going on saying pretty much the same thing. No, really, go first, chicken shit.
Yes. If you go first, we'll be sure to follow. Don't wait up though.
Go to college and get an education, they said. You'll be so smart when you've graduated, they said. The case is making me happy I'm a college dropout.
Makes me happy I never even bothered with the shit.
Let us move on here. The DEA will decide whether to change course on marijuana by July.
They won't.
That would be nice if they did.
Yeah, but it'd be nice if they did a lot of things. But they haven't done those either. So
In a lengthy memo to lawmakers, the Drug Enforcement Administration said it hopes to decide whether to change the federal status of marijuana in the first half of 2016.
I know, fucking. It's always funny when I'm the more cynical one than you are.
Yeah, I know. Because sometimes I just need to get hope. And then when that hope gets smashed, I'm twice as pissed off. So that actually makes me better.
True. Your job is to get hope, but my job is to basically stomp on your hope.
Yay, that sounds good to me. Anyways, marijuana is currently listed under the Controlled Substances Act as a Schedule 1 drug, meaning for the purposes of federal law, the drug has no medical use and a high potential for abuse. And it's one of the most dangerous drugs of all the drug schedules with potentially severe or psychological or physical dependence.
Fuck's sake.
Cocaine is actually seen as having medical purpose, so it's better
heroin,
than
cocaine.
heroin has medical purpose. Heroin is better than fucking marijuana.
Now, you've been around the block, and I've been around the block, so I can answer the question too. You've met crackheads?
Completely useless,
Okay.
detrimental to society.
Yeah. Okay. So describe what a crackhead would be and do.
They would break into your house and steal your shit if they didn't have the money to support their own habit. And we're talking the fucking full-fledged ones, not the ones that like try to do it on the weekends, but then get hooked and then have to go through rehab. Then they smoke crack again when they get out of rehab.
Have you met any junkies before? Full-blown junkies, heroin junkies?
Yes. One beat my friend over the head with a fucking table leg, and I, along with about 70 other people not related to the incident, were planning on just flat out murdering the guy. And my buddy was like, "No, he's an old friend. This was one burn." I was like, "Oh, he must have been that good of a friend if you're willing to burn this." I still want to fucking lynch him.
Okay, and just describe what a typical junkie pattern is. Just for people who don't know.
You get your fix. You're okay. But then you run out of your fix, and you look for ways to get your fix. You will do anything to get your fix. Some people are a bit more passive and just run mild cons. Like this one guy I knew who decided to sell fake drugs in order to get the real drugs.
I got stories on that because we were evil, but I'm going to save those for when we're off microphone or when we're off air, just so I don't get arrested. Okay, and I've met ecstasy people, and they're usually fucking stupid. And LSD is always fun. Describe the life of a typical pothead.
You sit in a basement, drool on yourself, call for pizza, gorge out on it, drool, Get up, pass out, get up, maybe do a wake and bake, go to work, do your thing. You're at least some benefit to society there. And, that's usually it. I have met a couple of pot fiends that went close to the junkie lifestyle, but they didn't like totally go breaking into other people's cars to fucking steal random objects they could pawn for money, totally ignoring the actual money left in the car. This is something I've seen video footage of. The fucking
Yeah.
crackhead running down this entire fucking parking lot, smashing open windows, opening cars, grabbing CDs and shit, and like the camera would pan over into the car, and you see there's a $50 bill sitting there. He didn't grab the $50 bill. He grabbed the CDs.
Yes. So marijuana is apparently one of the most dangerous drugs on earth. That's what pisses me off about that whole thing is, I mean, I know potheads and they can be annoying sometimes because they're just off in their own little fantasy world, but they're more than harmless.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the most
And the
harmless
most
people.
harm they do is they fucking will occasionally sell fake pot to a complete newbie, but once the newbie catches on, they stop.
Yeah, but come on,
But
that's
that's if you're
hilarious.
and that's like if you're a complete scumbag about it.
Yeah, but come on, it's hilarious to see them trip out over nothing and act so convinced that they're getting high. And I mean, the most harm they do is laughing at me because some of them get the giggles, and I can't stand people who get the giggles.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably less harmful than LSD,
Yeah.
and everyone knows we support acid on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, yeah. Well, I have hope, but I'm not optimistic. Let's put it that way.
Okay, I was wrong because marijuana shares Schedule 1 status with heroin. Okay.
Marijuana is as dangerous as. And how many? Fuck's sake. I actually did a.
And
Paper
keep
on.
in mind, it was a heroin junkie that fucking beat my friend over the head with a fucking table leg. Whereas even a pothead at his most desperate will just fucking go out and get a job.
Or they'll just stand at your door whining the whole night.
Yeah.
Come on, man! I just want some more money so I can get some or so I can get some pot, and then you give them more money, and they usually share a joint with you, and everything's fine.
And
But
that's if they're 100% fiend status that they start the begging. Usually it's, okay, I got to go to work to get more money for my bills and to do things with the family, and then
yes,
I'll
but
have about 30 left over, and I'll get some pot with that.
yes, but Brent was a whiny ass bitch who would he don't know what he was doing, but he didn't know what he was doing. But yeah, he's fucking. Come on, I really want some more, man. Fuck you. And later on, he got sober because he had to get sober, and he sold all his metal CDs.
And it is more strictly regulated than the powerful prescription painkillers that have killed more than 165,000 people since
Right.
1999. How many people has
What I
pot
was about to
killed?
say is if we did it was for health and sex ed class, and it was the health class. We had to do I think it was a PowerPoint on drugs, and you were supposed to pick a drug. I picked heroin because it was the first drug that came into my mind. My dad was against it because heroin was a quote evil drug, but I said, look, that's the point. And we made it the most evil, dark, scary thing we could with like pictures of fucking After Effects and track marks, and we 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 made people squirm, and I didn't care. I was just like, and we also had a mile long list of people who died of celebrities who died of with complete with pictures of the person, obviously, who died of heroin overdoses or whatever. How many people died of pot overdoses? I've heard rumors that you can by eating it, but I'm not sure if that's true because I heard it on a talk radio show.
The DEA has rebuffed numerous previous attempts at rescheduling, sometimes after decades of stonewalling, and in at least one case overrode the recommendation of its own administrative judge.
Someone's getting some money there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wonder if it's the fucking heroin crack dealers getting money saying we got to keep this illegal because if we give people this kind of high, they're going to stop paying for the cocaine.
Maybe
it might stop. If we legalize it, it might just stop being a gateway drug.
Maybe it's what made marijuana illegal in the first place, the paper industry, the timber industry. Because in the 1930s, Popular Mechanics heralded the, which can actually be an interesting read, Popular Mechanics, heralded the creation of a new machine which would make marijuana one of the largest cash crops. Now the timber and would replace timber as far as paper and shit. The timber people weren't necessarily happy with that, so they basically paid enough money, and what do you know, marijuana was legal.
Well, there's also the fucking various stamp acts and shit brought upon by your fucking temperance movements, fucking stay sober kind of shit. From way back whenever it was like you got to stay sober in order to be holy for the Lord.
Yeah, but the temperance thing had died by the time marijuana was alcohol. They tried that and it didn't work.
No, you see, I'm going through a bit more of the history here.
Oh no, well we all know the history.
Here, these are the stamp acts that essentially made it only legal if you got a stamp, but they never gave out the stamps except to like a very elite few. And by the time it was actually made, like, we're going to go to war on this drug kind of thing, that was basically just to cover up the fucking Watergate thing.
And in the 1700s, you could actually go to jail for not growing it. It was legal tender too until the early 1800s. I've read some of the arguments for outlawing marijuana. It could make a black man look at a white woman twice. And it could cause people to fall under the influence of listening to jazz, which admittedly isn't something I really want to do. So, no, but yeah, it should have never been illegal in the first place. And yeah.
Yeah, people are just morons. The current petition before the DEA was initiated by then governors Christine Georgie of Washington and Lincoln Chaffee of Rhode Island in 2011.
That is an awesome name, Lincoln Chaffee. He has two first names. Or two last names, I'm sorry.
In a previous letter to lawmakers, the DEA indicated it had all the information it needed to make a decision as of last September. The current memo, written in conjunction with the heads of the Department of Health and Human Services and the Office of National Drug Control Policy, also provides a detailed look at how the federal government provides marijuana to researchers. Currently, the government grants a monopoly on marijuana production for research purposes to one program at University of Mississippi. Because of this monopoly, research-grade drugs that meet researcher specifications often take years to acquire if they are produced at all.
Yay, government's corrupt. Who knew?
Yeah. And the whole thing is, both of the popular people right now, everyone except Hillary, is all about fucking doing the traditional lawmakers, Hillary, Cruz, and all that, are all for the legalization of marijuana. Whereas, the traditional ones are like still against it.
Yeah, but when the Republicans say you should legalize pot, I think something's kind of up here because they're traditionally the last ones to. Actually, traditionally they were the first ones for change, but that's kind of flip-flop. So traditionally, in the past 20 or 30 years, they've been the last ones to accept change / haven't accept change yet. So when they even say...
That's why my ounce of hope is because there's a couple presidential candidates along with a bunch of people up for election in different offices actually saying we should change this. No.
All of
I
hope,
mean,
all of hope wants it changed. So let's put it that way.
yay. And I'll have hope, and if it gets crushed, good.
I'm fucking decades younger than you, and I pretty
You're more
much
skeptical. Yeah.
no. I'm just more cynical. I love it. Yeah, all of hope wants the things done.
Okay. So we have candidate who called feminists angry, militant, man-hating lesbians was elected to Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Well, I'm not sure. Okay, let's. I'm not going to pass judgment right now, but let's.
Oh, trust me, it's a good thing you're not passing judgment right now because you haven't heard the good parts that we're gonna fucking point and laugh
Yeah. Okay. Go.
at. Rebecca Bradley won a 10-year term to the state's Supreme Court. Bradley is a social conservative known for the things she wrote in her college newspaper.
A social conservative. No shit.
That list included perhaps AIDS awareness should seek to educate us. AIDS awareness should seek to educate us with their misdirected compassion for the degenerates who basically commit suicide through their behavior.
Jesus fuck.
I mean,
What?
now you see that applies to the heroin junkies sharing needles, but the next statement clarifies that's not the only thing she's talking about. I will give her credit that if she were to leave it as the heroin junkies sharing needles as her point, I would have agreed with it, but she does not.
Yes, but I didn't think that's what she was talking about.
But the homosexuals and drug addicts who essentially kill themselves and others through their own behavior,
yeah,
receive none of my sympathy. See, the drug addicts find candy.
I knew immediately that's where she was going to.
Yeah, I knew that's where she was going to. I just wanted to state my own opinion. Yes, I agree that fucking sharing needles and shit like that amongst junkies is fucking just committing suicide through your own idiotic behavior.
Pretty much.
But, when it comes to sexual preference, who cares who you fuck? And she does care who people fuck, so fuck her.
Well, she is a social conservative. I can definitely see that now.
We just had an election in 1992, which proves the majority of voters are either totally stupid or entirely evil.
Nah, not enough evil people here.
Just because that's when Clinton was elected? What? I mean, the blowjob wasn't that bad, it involved some fucking cigar action, but, I don't know.
Come back to us, Jim. Come back to us.
This brings me to my next point. Why is a student government on a Catholic campus attempting to bring legitimacy to abnormal sexual preference? Great, more gay bashing.
Yay, just what we need.
Yeah, we need more of this. Fuck. Oh, man. Heterosexual sex is very healthy in a loving marital relationship. Homosexual sex, however, kills.
Damn it, Jim. Don't have sex unless you're married. If you want to fuck her, get married, then divorce her. Same nights.
Fuck, I'm still working on my damn divorce. I'm separated. I've been separated for 10 years. And after I put forth the effort to, put forth the money, which has been the main sticking problem because I've bounced between homelessness, joblessness, and all that happy shit for too long. Once I put forth the money to get everything settled, it should be like, no fault and everything should be cool by then. But,
yes. you'd
It's
think
just a
people would
question of
just
having money.
you think people would just let you fucking divorce. Just the system is too fucking Christian.
Yeah.
Just
Homosexual sex is very. No, I just read that.
yeah.
And I will certainly characterize whomever transferred their infected blood by a homosexual or drug addicted degenerate and a murderer.
Jeez, this person's. I think she's Ann Coulter's lesbian lover,
Yeah.
which immediately just filled my head with horrible images. I really, really don't want that in my head.
In addition, she wrote that abortion rights should be put to popular vote and that feminism is largely composed of angry, militant, man-hating lesbians who abhor the traditional family. That's just something I sort of agree with. I don't think it's largely composed by it, but I do think it is the most vocal members, the ones that we hear all the time in the news and everything else trying to push. Fucking even that teacher that was pushing the fucking privilege thing that in the article we just read.
Well,
Those are the types of people, but I don't see it as the majority.
I don't care about the traditional family thing. Because whatever. But yeah, well, there's definitely the loudest voice. But then again, the loudest voices are always the ones who
Get
have
the
their
politics made, yeah. Fuck.
Yes, I agree. Burp for freedom, Jim.
Anyways, after she was a temporary judge sent to the bench last fall to replace the deceased judge, Bradley won a 10-year term on the Supreme Court outright.
Jeez, fuck.
And the margin was very small, 52% to 48%.
America, you got some explaining to do. Well, Wisconsin at least, but America, I think, too.
Well, the whole thing is, this is pretty much symbolic of, like, the whole entire fucking wussbags and fucking idiots going out there all fucking PC police, like, creating their own enemies. I mean, she probably wouldn't have been elected if people weren't sick and tired of this crap. All the fucking, I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim.
Well, you say that, but it is Wisconsin. I get what you mean, but it is Wisconsin. They're not really known for...
Yeah, that's a factor in it, too. But, I don't know exactly how much of a factor each played. But considering the margin was so short, 52% to 48%, that extra 4% might have gone to the other candidate if this... because that's all it would take is 4% just being pissed off the PC politics and just picking the wrong person. Because, they stood for one thing they agreed with, not realizing that there might be other things they disagree with. But because it's the hot button topic, that's the way it goes. So you create your own enemy.
I wonder when we'll go back to, hating everything. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
There is kind of a first it's, anti-war, peace and love. Then it's, more pro-war. So there's kind of a trend in politics. So.
And we got finally here. Granny mistakenly praised before statue of online gaming character.
Grandmothers are so fun because they don't either it's they don't care, they're senile, they're blind, or a combination of all three.
This is great. An Illinois woman was spotted recently trying to prostrate herself before the old gods, not realizing that the statue she was bowing to was instead the idol of a new era. Oh, God.
Please tell me it was Jinx Dawson.
No, it wasn't.
God damn it. Because that would be awesome on so many levels. I was wondering why God had breasts.
The photos.
By the way, really quickly, new Coven EP coming out soon. Happiness for everyone.
The photos come from outside an internet cafe. The woman is seen kneeling and burning incense in front of a statue that bears the resemblance to Lord Guan, a Chinese general during the Three Kingdoms period, immortalized in one of China's most famous books and turned into a god. However, it turns out the statue is actually green, a League of Legends character. She prayed to League of Legends.
I don't even fucking know what League of Legends is. Don't explain. I mean, no, I know what it is. I just don't.
All I know is that it's an MMO. I never played it, but
All I fucking know about League of Legends is that they have a massive online gaming community with like commentaries and shit, and full-blooded tournaments with really professional commentators. And yeah,
the most effective way to kill an opponent is to slice through the man next to him.
Okay, thank you.
The images have left many netizens feeling heartbroken for the poor woman. I don't feel heartbroken at all. This is great. Go ahead, worship the online gaming gods.
One god is the same as another unless it's Jinx. Then it's the real god. Yes. That's my belief.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas you apparently pray to Boink, or you are Boink or something.
I am Boink. Therefore, people pray to me.
Even though no one's heard of Boink.
The entire universe is descendant from defecation. Therefore, defecation is the greatest blessing one may bestow upon another.
Worship the gods of decay.
Euthanize the stupid.
And the smart, just for good measure.
No, the whole point was to, only have smart people as part of his religion.
I know, but I'm just totally fucking misanthropic, so I couldn't just stop at euthanizing the stupid.
And an aborted fetus was his holy symbol.
Yeah, if Boink was just a little more misanthropic.
Oh, fuck. During the second campaign, whenever my one buddy decided to roll up a character that was a kite, and that is a chain demon. Okay?
Chain demon.
So his character started off in hell, and what Point did was grab him out of his lair of hell, shout a bunch of garbled, completely fucking wasted, just fucking random fucking kill, crush, destroy, fucking murder everything in existence, blah, 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 kind of shit on him. And it's just this way that made no sense. The only thing you get from it was kill. Okay. And then he stuck the demon up his ass and then shit him onto the world.
This is a theology we should have had 2,000 years ago. Where were you 2,000 years ago when that Jesus guy was spreading his love thy neighbor?
Here I will shit evil upon the world. He will kill everything. Follow him and kill everything as well.
But love thy...
And then the worst part was, it was great. My buddy decided to make a zombie out of an Amish guy he killed. They were raising a barn and he killed all these Amish people.
Yes, I love this one. Yeah.
And he made a fucking zombie out of him by taking a shit on his head. And the Amish guy had his Amish hat on with a giant turd on top of it for the rest of the campaign.
Yes. He was apparently some sort of legend.
Yeah, that zombie was a legend. He's the one that, whenever they got to the surface world, because they were living inside a hollow world and shit, and they stole a tank from the surface world, brought it down to the inner world, which was all medieval in status. So they had a tank in a medieval world with dragons. And he decided to have his fucking Amish zombie guy fucking drive a truck carrying a nuclear warhead into a village that looked at him funny.
And
the zombies still came out of it. Well, half of them did, and the zombie was still able to lurch around a little bit. And he put them to other uses after patching them back together with other corpses.
Oh, hell, zombies.
With more defecation.
Defecation.
Mm. I feel real sorry for her. Probably her family ran into some unexpected trouble and she's looking for help. As long as your beliefs are sincere, then the true God will help you.
No, they won't.
We're
Because
sure
unfortunately, I sodomized the Christian God and the Chinese God.
that by telling Garen her problems, our friend felt all of her troubles lifted away. And that is what matters at the end of the day, right?
After she sniffed a
Yes.
whole bunch of coke.
Cocaine.
Cocaine.
Yeah. Uh,
Yay! Not too many articles today, huh?
yeah. Well, actually, I went through several real quick. So, yeah. I figured this would be a good place to end it.
Yep, I do too. And then before you go, I'll tell you a couple stories off microphone.
Okay.
Uh, what?
Sounds like fun. We'll set things on fire.
This will be the shortest episode we've ever done.
Only about an hour and a half or so.
Yeah, keep some short, keep some longer.
Mm-hmm. Depends upon if the world's truly eating itself.
That's why I titled this "Teach the World to Eat Itself."
Yes, the world does need to eat itself so we can be entertained.
Well, and plus, I'm gonna go to fucking sleep soon. I hope you enjoyed this shorter but sweeter, a little more to the point episode of Pete, Swine Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Episodes. This has been the Swine Brothers Show, episode 79 for the 12th of April, 2016. We're a day late, but it still sucked. Email your death threats to Jim, and as I said, if a really good one, we'll read it on air. ELLinthemood@gmail.com. If you can't spell in the mood, then you're a moron. Uh, at least I think so. Facebook is Swine Brothers. If you can't spell that, you're a moron. And Twitter
Yeah.
is always Swine Bros 666. And look up the Cult of the Jim or the Cult of Jim, whatever. He doesn't like title his things. So sometimes it's the Cult of the Gym, sometimes it's the Cult of Jim, so it gets really confusing because he's a moron.
No, it's more that I ceased caring long ago.
True.
You must join me in my apathy.
Yes, but you have hope.
I have hope, which needs to be smashed.
Yes, it does. So for Jim, I have been Elliot. We will see you on Friday at our usual time, 4/7 Eastern, and that's 12 British time. Bye.
And remember to defecate on corpses so that you can create zombies, maybe.